Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. Everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous. From presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movie stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I'm proud to introduce you to Dr. Barry Boehm, a distinguished professor of engineering and researcher who can proudly say he has educated over 2,000 master degree students in software engineering and over 40 PhD students. Sir, I can say for certain you are a teacher's teacher. So let's start by going over your educational background. Dr. Boehm, how did you build the foundation to start your career?
Well, I guess the foundation was just sort of a lucky chance that when I was a sophomore at Harvard, uh, I got an opportunity to spend my summer vacation at the uh, General Dynamics company. And uh, so I went to their um, personnel office and they asked what my major was, and I said mathematics. And the interviewer looked at his um, blackboard and it said propulsion and aerodynamics and digital computing. And he said, "Oh, there's digits. That's mathematics, isn't it?" So they sent me over to the digital computing lab, and so so it was really a super opportunity because this was 1955, and a computer lab was basically a room that was about 60 by 30. And uh, when I got there, my supervisor to be walked me inside the computer and showed me this is the part that does the memory and this is the part that does the computing and that sort of thing. And we will spend some time training you on how to program for it. Um, there is one thing that I want to emphasize for you, though, is that we're paying this computer $6,000 an hour, and we're paying you $2 an hour.
Oh, so it was practically an internship for all practical purposes.
Yeah, right. So, and we want you to act accordingly and don't waste any computer time that you don't have to. Yeah, well, fortunately, I was at Harvard, and when I got back to uh, Cambridge, Massachusetts, I was able to take a course that involved programming the computer that they had there, which was one of the very early ones. It was the Harvard Mark IV, and so again, it was a relatively primitive programming language in that it basically said your commands are things like add this to this and put it on this wire that takes it over to this processor over here. And so it was very different than the commercial one that I'd been working on at General Dynamics in San Diego.
Mhm. I like how you refer to your work with mathematics as a language. I've always thought of math as a language, not one that I speak very well. I must admit, my 15-year-old son does a heck of a lot better than I do. But, sir, do you find it challenging translating the mathematics that you work on, that language, into tangible results that really can impact the real world?
Yeah, that's something that I was very happy to get yeah, basically, after my junior year and senior, I went back and continued the job I had had at General Dynamics, and it was the uh, company that was producing the Atlas rocket, and basically, I had also been a big fan of science fiction and space travel, and maybe I'd get to Mars someday, or things like that. And so one of the assignments they gave me was to create a computer program that would go onto the Atlas rocket with an astronaut in it, and it would have an escape rocket that if something started going wrong with the main rocket, it would blast itself off.
Oh,
And so I had the opportunity to program the escape rocket. And so I felt I was really getting at the early days of space travel and that kind of thing.
so you really did get to go ahead and fulfill that fantasy of space travel by making
Yeah,
sure it could be done in a way that would get them back, not just get them there, but get them back. Um,
right.
I was looking at that number that I quoted in the beginning. You have been responsible for more than 2,000 students receiving a master's degree and over 40 students receiving their PhD. That is just a legacy of excellence that very few people can claim. So, Dr. Beam, talk to me a little bit about the current projects you and or your students are working on. I'm fascinated.
Okay, so basically, uh, when I started uh, uh, teaching students to program real systems, I would uh, 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 concoct a system that operated a library and basically laid out a bunch of aspects of the library and what happened when you were checking a book out or if a book was overdue or things like that. And so the students started programming the capabilities of library management. And about a couple months later, I was visited by 15 USC librarians saying, these people are coming around and asking me, uh, what does a librarian do here? What does a librarian do there? And the like. And and I thank them for giving them the opportunity to understand that. And but they did say, uh, "Why are you doing a makeup project? We're 15 librarians. There are 15 things that we'd like the computer to do for us." So fundamentally, the uh, course turned into a an opportunity to do useful computer applications for people in the USC neighborhood. So it began with 15 librarians, but then it went to a whole bunch of other people that were doing uh, fine arts or medicine or things like that. And then it blossomed out into things that were going on in the USC neighborhood. There are various um, um, small businesses or government offices or uh, uh, social services organizations and the like. And so there was a huge number of people that wanted applications done for them. And I had this bunch of students every year that would do a couple dozen more applications for people in the USC neighborhood. So after 20 years of doing that, there were quite a few applications and like.
Sir, you are the author of over 500 papers and books, and I was just fascinated to see that over the course of your career, your very long career, you're still winning awards. In fact, you were named Professor of the Year just last year by the International Association of Top Professionals. You received the Nancy Mead Lifetime Achievement Award in Software Engineering Education in 2015, and so on and so on. Talk to me a little bit, Dr. Boehm, about what being recognized by your peers and other major associations in your field actually means to you, and how is that translated?
There are various things that you can do with the various professional societies. So uh, basically, I would do things that supported the conferences that the professional societies were running and the like, and uh, uh, being part of teams that would say, well, yeah, what would be what's going to be the future of electrical engineering or aerospace engineering or things like that. So uh, I became what is called an honorary fellow of these professional societies. So one is computing, one is electrical engineering, one is aerospace engineering, and what's the fourth one? It's basically systems engineering.
So those are the accolades, sir. Let's talk about some of the books that you've helped write and or edit. I said there were over 500. What do you hope to accomplish with with your writings? What is it that you want the reader to get out of your books?
Uh, uh, just to get uh, new perspectives on how they might have been doing their jobs previously. So in a lot of cases, uh, the uh, uh, people that were uh, doing computer systems were not as much aware of what the real priorities were if you were a financial person or if you were an astronaut or things like that. Uh, so it was nice to be able to operate in these various application areas and then see what are the commonalities between them and what are the variabilities across them and the like. And so the books would generally address things like that. That says, here are some principles that seem to apply to just about everybody, but here's how they vary by what particular kind of work they do.
As we come to a close, sir, can you tell me what's the one thing you'd like the viewer of this video feature to walk away with today?
Uh, Again, depending on who they are, if they're uh, sophomores in college, they can look at here's an example career that they might be interested in doing something like. But if there are people that uh, had a lot of what they did depended on computing, and they really didn't understand what was going on inside the computer or inside the computer lab or the like. And trying to make it more clear what it was to be a good uh, user or buyer of a computing system.
Mhm. I see exactly. And, sir, so let me just say to you, thank you very much for the conversation and also for your years of service and dedication to educating students across the board. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to do it.